Hey ladies and gents, welcome back to another review, and today we're going to be reviewing this amazing kit right here. The Master Grade Gundam Kyrios from Gundam 007. And yes, that was a James Bond reference, just making sure y'all are paying attention. Now let's get into accessories to get this review started. Alright, we'll start off the accessories off with the sticker sheets, of course. Not really much in the way of color correcting or anything like that. These here will go on the forearms. I didn't put these on yet because I'm going to paint this eventually, so I figure I'll leave them off at the moment. And the only thing I've put on so far was the eyes. Then of course you get a nice sheet of decals here. Of course these are the basic stickers, they're not water transfers or anything, water slides. Got plenty of warning stickers, details for like the shield I believe, and then the armor plating on the back and the back skirting and stuff. Now we'll move on to the submachine gun here. Pretty simple and basic, but actually I do love the look of this. It is pretty well part separated. It's only in two colors really, but if you want to do any painting or custom colors, it's really simple. You're able to paint this before you ever assemble it, and you don't have to worry about masking or anything like that at all. It makes it very simple. And the sight here has a nice little gimmick. You can push it down and it pops down in there, and mine's a little stiff, but come on, you can do it. And pops right up like that. Little gimmick, not too bad, kind of neat. And then we also have the missile pods here. You get two of these, you see here. Oh, and also, you get two of these handles. You can swap them out for the missile pods. You can put it on, they'll work for either one of them. And then also, right now I have one of them on the submachine gun right here. And it also does come with two of these little simple brackets here, you know, so you can mount on the forearms in whatever position you might want to. And these don't do anything really spectacular. Now they're all just one solid piece. I plan on at least one of these, when I go to paint and do some model work on this, I'm going to see about cutting this and fashioning it where it looks like they're open, ready to fire, but it's not going to be an opening and closing gimmick. I'm just going to position it, you know, where it's always open. So I swap it out whenever I want to pose it with that. Make it look cool like it's about to fire off some rockets. And then of course you have your two beam sabers. 00 style of beam sabers. They're not the typical rounded ones. They have a sort of square design to them. Just one of my favorites when it comes to those. And of course it does come with two beam saber handles. They're, well, wiggle that out a little bit, so there we go. Kind of see up underneath there. They tuck in underneath. The back skirt is pretty neat. We'll get to that gimmick later on, how they swing out. Of course you get the, oh he's backwards. Little hallelujah figure standing pose there. You can stick paint up and half standing with your Gundam. Of course there is a seated pilot inside the cockpit of the Gundam itself as well. And then of course you get multiple different hands. This has a swappable fingers on it. You get an expressive hand for both sides, left and right. So those are always nice for some dynamic posing. You get trigger fingers, one for each hand as well. I got the other one on the submachine gun at the moment. Then you also get, oh, that's another trigger finger. Wait, I'm confused here. Oh, this is the one for beam sabers, actually. My bad. That's my mistake. You get, of course, two of the trigger fingers here. Focus. Making sure I'm showing you all the right ones this time. And you get a beam saber hand. Focus, you stupid thing. There we go. One for each hand as well. Then, of course, in the kit at the moment, we have the closed fists. Now, out of the accessories, the favorite, of course, and what everybody's probably wanting to see is the GN shield here. This thing is pretty neat. It has a fair amount of gimmicks on it. Of course, it is able to extend. Simple as that, just pull it out. And it does have a pivot here. And, of course, the blade. Now, the blade just kind of sticks in there, doesn't retract or anything. Pretty simple design on that. Slots in there just like so. Then of course it has the pincer gimmick, which there is nice detail all up and through here. But when you have it on the forearm in this position, it'd be like so. It pivots out. But if you want to pivot in, it does rotate here at the end of the shaft right there. So you can turn it in that way. Now here, you have some articulation for the shield when you have it attached. It has the symbol that snaps onto the forearm there. This does rotate around. And it does slide up and down a bit, give you some extension on that from the forearm if you like, or you can bring it in a little closer like that as well. So the shield is pretty cool. I do love that. That's pretty neat. Alright, now we get started on some of this articulation here. We'll start from the head and work our way down, of course. Now this does have a lot of moving parts, so I might miss a couple. If I do, please forgive me. But we'll actually kind of start with the backpack here. Simple. Of course, this moves around, it'll come and drop forward when it comes time for transformation, which we will get to. Fins here for when you transform it as well. They'll be sticking out, the upright position, of course. Oh, and I completely forgot about, move that up some more, the GN drive back here. You have these 3 latches here that will move out, and then you can just slide this sucker right on out. Of course, typical sort of GN drive like the others, you pop in the LED and you give it a little twist and it'll turn it on, so you don't have to take the LED light out every time. Now let's see if I can get you back in there straight. There, as simple as that, slide in, close those back. And this does as well have some movement here on the back as well. Actually, while we're back here, we'll do the back skirting. Now this has a little gimmick where it will lock into place here. Won't move or anything, stays in place, and you just kind of have to wiggle it out a little bit here. Gently. Come on now. Well, that one's in there really good. I haven't moved so much. Yeah, it's just got a little, I don't know if you can see it up in there, a little peg right there that slots in, but once you pop that out, you got typical back skirting movement. You can do like that, and it's a bit of a hinged ball joint in there, so it can kind of move in and out like so, and then of course your typical up and down. And also, kind of doing this not exactly from the head down like I said I would, but hey, as long as it gets done. And then you have your beam sabers here, which will hinge down and out. I did notice there's like a little slot to these. So if you want them to spin out, you want to pull them out a little bit, or you're going to mess that up, I noticed. See if I... No, that didn't quite get out there far enough, it looks like. Come on. These are a little finicky sometimes. Oh, see. There's that little notch right in there. It slots in right there, so try turn it once in that. It could mess it up, which I'm thinking about just shaving that off there, because that's not exactly necessary. It's a tight fit. And you can bring those out to the side like that, so you can see where he's... You can probably have him reaching around there to get a hold of that. Swing it back in and just push that back in like so. Yeah, that went there, right? Alright, so now we'll start from the head and work our way down. Now the head has a weird sort of... It's on a ball joint right up in there, of course. And it has the hinge part that comes down on this little base part of the neck, and that also hinges up some too, which I'm not sure if that's for the transformation or not, because I haven't transformed this yet, so we'll find out more here after a while. But all in all, it has great movement of the head, looking down. Looking up's pretty good too. And then also, of course, with these 00 suits, you have these little extra sort of V-fins here on the shoulder, which I like these a lot. They just add some, to me, I like the character that adds to the suit. I enjoy those. Now, also, you have these bits of armor here that are on a simple ball socket right here on the back of the shoulder. You can swivel these up and around any direction you need to. And also the inner frame parts on the inside of these, it's kind of raised up away from the orange part, the armor plating there. So it gives it a nice kind of 3D, it gives it some depth to it. And of course you have the inner frame showing through here, which I do love all this detail and that where the inner frame pokes out here and there throughout the armor. And of course the shoulder armor can move independent of that. Got a hinge up in there. You have the arm up, of course, which with the shoulder armor straight down only goes up about that high. Not too much, but of course it with the armor up and everything, it goes just about where you might need it to. Of course, upper rotation here, 360 at the top of the bicep there. Got the elbow bend here. Good complete elbow bend there. That's nice. I was worried about these, the holographic pieces here, and the way it's designed, those don't really move or get pulled on at all, so they don't get messed up. I was afraid they might pop out on you or something like that, but no issues there. Now the wrist has this extra movement right here. It's within the forearm, up and down there. Then of course the swivel there with inside that. Then you also have a pivot right there at that point, and then some flexion and everything else. So you got just about any type of movement you want out of that wrist. Oh, and of course the shoulder here, they can kind of, this moves along with it for a little bit of extra movement, but also you can bring out, oops, I got a part sliding off back here. Get back in there, you son of a... Okay, we'll worry about that later. You can pull this out a fair amount and help you bring that arm across the chest there. Quite a ways. You can probably cross the arms in the front of the chest there. Maybe, you know, got that bit sticking out there for the chest piece over the GN drive. Yeah, both arms will do that. Squish that back up in there. Now this has a few points of articulation here in the chest and the torso. Got this bit right here that pivots around the GN drive. It'd be easier if I took them from the back side. That did not sound right. Anyways, that's how you can easier show you the rotation right there in the upper around the shoulders around the GN drive. Then get the arm up and you can see the not much of an ab crunch it seems like, but it gives you plenty for you to play with there. And of course, the see about the back goes pretty good. Kind of those hit, you may push those up and pretty good backwards, but it hits back here on the back skirting, so I won't do a full 360. And then also here, these little pieces in the front of the chest and the GN drive will move in and out. And then of course you have the opening cockpit right there. You can open it up pretty simple. I can't see down in there, but there is a little seated pilot figure down there in the bottom. Just close that right up. Now the front skirt armor has the same sort of gimmick as the back skirt armor, whereas you can lock it into place like so, and it won't move forward, back, nothing. But they're on a little bit of a hinge and a ball joint up into there, so you get pretty decent movement. A little bit in the way of that big knee fin. You can get to the side there plenty well. And there is no side skirt armor on this guy, so you don't have to worry about that getting in the way of any mobility and posing it around. Now let's see here we go. So those will only go up so far, so they kind of off to the side you get some leg kick, which doesn't seem like too much right there. Of course you're hitting your chest of the Gundam right there with the knee fin there, but the hips do rock down. Not independently, but they do rock down. There we go. And I didn't notice that when I first was playing this earlier today. So I don't know how much that helps with the... Here, I threw that leg down straight. I'm getting this guy like a contortionist here. Of course, that keeps getting in the way of, you know, your front kick there. But when you bring the leg in, which has a nice bend, we'll move that skirt armor back. You can, of course, tuck that all the way up in there. So that's a pretty good knee bend there. See how far up you can get that. Pretty decent. Before you start having issues with the... Oh, well, yeah, if you go too far, it will pop off. And I'll just sit that down for the moment. I'm sure I'm going to pop something else off of this thing. Now, typically, I haven't had that issue with parts all popping off. It's just because I'm trying to film this and get all framing on the camera, so it's a little awkward. Bit of a skill set that I'm still working on. And of course here you can see the knee armor has a double bend there, and that armor does separate right there at the center. Bring it up there, meets up with the upper thigh, then that will come on in and meet up straight with that. And you do also here on the side of the calf here, little gimmick, not much, but you push that down right in there, and the little vernier there pops out to the side. Little button right there kind of works in the way of the side on the the machine gun, just to put it back, just simple. Push it right up on in there. No big deal there. Now as for the foot, these are some of the strangest feet I've seen on a kit thus far, which isn't a bad thing. So the ankle armor is on a pivot there, just kind of rocks forward and back. And also here you still have some more of that detailed inner frame poking out, which is, I just love how that looks, especially if you're going to paint this and do like a metallic inner frame, that'll end up looking really nice, just kind of poking out through there. Also, let's see here. We'll get to the foot here. The toe does bend down quite a ways, which of course I believe that is also part of the transformation. Then this little bit of armor coming off the ankle there does move around, which I have noticed. You kind of stand it up, you kind of put it up in there. There's a little lip in the top of this, and it'll help hold it feet straight to help stand it up, which this thing, if you noticed earlier on the base at the beginning of the video, has no issue standing up on its own. It was kind of wobbly, but I also have a cheap turning display base there. But you got plenty of side to side here. That's all actually pretty good. On a bit of a hinge off in here, so that's all the way back. Then now I go, well, let's see here. Move that up. Of course, you got a toe up there if you move that piece of armor, like I said, out of the way. But with it flat-footed looking, that's the foot forward. And it does have rotation to it as well. And now the knee parts here, they do snap in and out and can kind of drop down. But I believe that's for the inner, or for the transformation, which actually, now I think about it, let's pop these out, drop it down, swing these hips down again. You just pop those fins off the knee up a little bit, you can get a pretty decent leg kick right there. That's not bad at all. Kind of gets that out of the way for you. That's pretty nice. I hadn't thought about doing that to begin with. And now it does come with the action base adapter, but to attach this one, see here if I can get this sucker off of here. There we go. It's simple, big old square peg. Meets up right in here in the back. And it holds pretty snug and tight. So your typical action base adapter just kind of slots in there, just the way that you have to mount it and put on the back skirting armor makes that very secure. Let me get some of these parts back on here and we'll get them transformed real quick. Be right back with you. Alright, and here we are, and got him in his flight form, and all in all, he looks pretty good, as long as you keep it kind of nose down a bit. And it is, for the most part, a very simple transformation. Simply pop a shield on there. I got the missile pod under here, and his submachine gun. But you see he's just kind of face down there. Pretty sturdy still in his flight form. Nothing falling off. Holds pretty well. Get it. Oh, and it just uses the same action base point. And the adapter, you just bend the end of the base down so it slides on there like that. But for the most part, simple, easy transformation. Anybody could do it. Looks cool overall, like I said, as long as you keep it kind of nose down. Now, as for my final thoughts for this kit, get it. This kit is amazing. If you're not in transformations, not a big deal, because even in the MS mode like this, it's solid as a rock. After building this, the Dynamis is going to have to go in my collection here soon as well, and I can't wait to see Virtue, see what they do with that. And at this rate with this new inner frame, they have to make a 2.0 of the Exia. I don't see how they can't. But overall, this is a great kit. Nice detail, how the inner frame pops through here and there. It's not overkill on panel lines. If you want to add some, there's some space. If you don't want to, it's got plenty on there for detail for you to do. Has a nice, not over top on accessories, but the ones it does have go great with the kit. All in all, I mean, I have no complaints about this kit. I can't find any seam lines that need to be repaired or anything like that. It's only thing is maybe getting a few poses sometimes with those fins on the knees, but that's really, it's part of its character. I mean, it's part of the charm of this kit. Either you're gonna have to love it or hate it. I personally love it. I can deal with that little bit getting in the way. So what? Well guys, that's my overall outlook on this kit. I hope you enjoyed the review. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter under KyleToon1 for more updates on new reviews and work in progress videos that will be coming out soon, hopefully. Thanks for joining me, guys. Y'all take it easy.